Chosen one. The moment you opened this message, something in the unseen shifted. You can feel it. That quiet pull in your spirit, that familiar ache in your chest, that whisper that says this isn't a coincidence. It's because this message didn't come to you. It came for you, delivered through divine timing, carried through spiritual alignment, and placed in front of you because heaven knew what your heart has been silently battling. Your heart breaks deeper because it connects deeper. You don't love lightly, chosen one. You love with your entire essence. The kind of love that remembers souls, reads between silences, and feels the energy beneath a person's words. And when a heart like yours shatters, it does not simply crack. It echoes. It shakes the spirit. It tears through layers most people never even access. That's why you felt confusion, emotional exhaustion, and a heaviness that's hard to explain. You keep wondering why your healing takes longer when others seem to move on so easily. But that's because you weren't built like them. Nothing about you is surface level. Nothing about your journey is average. There are wounds inside you that didn't come from people. They came from purpose. Shadows you had to walk through, not because you were weak, but because you were being prepared. And the truth is, your heart has been healing, not just from what happened, but from what was awakened within you because of it. The pain forced you to see deeper, feel deeper, discern deeper. It unlocked wisdom you never asked for, but desperately needed for the calling over your life. But chosen one, before we go deeper, pause for a moment, hit subscribe, and comment, "I received this," if your spirit is already responding. Because this message is about to speak directly to the places you've never put into words. You've been asking, why does it take me so long to move on? Why does every heartbreak feel like a spiritual earthquake? Why does healing feel like a journey instead of a moment? And now, finally, the answer is arriving. Not as information, but as revelation. This is your divine confirmation. This is the moment the fog begins to lift. This is where the unseen truth finally meets your understanding. Chosen one, lean in. Because the real reason your heart takes longer to heal is about to be revealed. And once you hear it, you will never see your pain the same way again. Chosen one, let's step into the first truth of your heart, the depth of emotional connection. This isn't just something you feel. This is something you are. You were never created for shallow attachments or temporary relationships. Your spirit carries a sensitivity that sees beyond personality and touches something far more sacred. When you connect, you don't just exchange words. You exchange energy. You don't just hold someone's hand. You hold their soul. And maybe you've wondered why it feels so overwhelming, why people stay in your spirit long after they've left your life. But chosen one, that's because your heart doesn't love with the mind. It loves with memory, intuition, and spiritual recognition. You sense emotions that others can't articulate. You feel vibrations beneath the surface, the intentions behind their silence, the wounds behind their anger. You pick up on the subtlest shifts, the tone of a message, the hesitation in a voice, the heaviness in someone's energy. You were given this depth not as a burden, but as a divine ability. But abilities like this come with a cost. Have you ever felt tired without knowing why? Or emotionally drained after being around someone who was hurting? That's because you weren't simply observing their feelings. You were absorbing them. This is your gift, but it is also the reason heartbreak hits you on levels most people never touch. When someone mishandles your heart, they don't just hurt the outer layer. They bruise the deeper chambers, the ones they never even knew existed. You love them from a place they never reached within themselves. You offered loyalty they didn't know how to receive, softness they didn't know how to protect, honesty they didn't know how to honor. And because of that, the ending wasn't just a loss. It was a spiritual wound. It was a tearing of energetic threads you never meant to release. But chosen one, here's the sacred truth. The way you love is rare. The way you connect is rare. And the pain you feel after losing someone is not a sign of weakness. It's proof of how deeply you allowed yourself to care. Would you truly want a heart that feels less? Would you truly want a soul that shuts down simply to avoid the beauty of depth? Or is there a part of you, even now, that knows your sensitivity is one of your greatest strengths. Your healing takes longer because your love goes further. Your heartbreak hurts more because your heart sees more. And your emotional connections run deep because your spirit was never meant for shallow waters. So ask yourself this, chosen one, what if your depth is not something to hide but something to master? What if the right souls, aligned, healed, awakened souls, will meet you at the level you've been loving from all along? As we move further, you'll see that your depth is not just part of your journey. It is the very reason your heart is evolving into its strongest, clearest, and most spiritually powerful form. Chosen one, let's step deeper into the truth of your heart. Why deep souls like you love slowly. This part of your journey is sacred, intentional, and often misunderstood. You are not slow because you are unsure. You are not hesitant because you are afraid. You love slowly because your spirit recognizes what your mind cannot always explain. Love is a holy exchange of energy, and not everyone is meant to be invited into your inner world. You observe people in a way that others don't. You watch their patterns, their tone, their alignment. You notice how they treat others, how they carry their past, how they show up when no one is watching. You listen to the silence between their words, the frequency beneath their presence. You discern quietly and deeply because you are not just looking for someone to love. You are looking for someone your soul can trust. Have you ever wondered why you can feel someone's truth before they speak it? Why you can sense their intentions before they reveal them? It's because your spirit has a built-in radar, a divine knowing that protects your heart long before your heart gets involved. And when you do finally choose someone, chosen one, you're not choosing them casually. You're opening the gates of your inner world, the tender places, the unspoken memories, the sacred dreams. You're giving them access to a part of you that most people will never get to touch. You're offering loyalty from the soul, devotion from the spirit, and love from the deepest chambers of your heart. That's why your pace is slow. That's why you don't rush. You know that giving your heart is not an act of impulse. It is an act of destiny. But this depth also means that when your heart breaks, it doesn't just hurt, it echoes. You're not simply recovering from what happened between you and someone else. You're untangling your energy from theirs. You're releasing the version of yourself that existed only in that connection. You're healing layers that were never touched in the shallow relationships. And that takes time, real time. Deep souls don't bounce back, they rise back, transformed, wiser, softer in strength. Chosen one, did you ever notice that every heartbreak leaves you more intuitive, more aware, more spiritually awake than before? That isn't an accident. That's divine design. Loving slowly is not a flaw. It is your spiritual filter. It protects you from investing in the wrong souls. It gives you time to sense misalignment. It allows your intuition to speak before your emotions get attached. And most importantly, it ensures that when you do love, you love with truth, purity, and purpose. So let me ask you this. Would you rather be quick and careless or slow and sacred? Would you rather rush into connections that drain you or wait for the ones that recognize your worth? Deep souls love slowly because they understand the cost of giving their heart to the wrong hands. They understand the weight of emotional investment. They understand the power of energetic intimacy. And chosen one, you are one of those deep souls. Your slow love is not hesitation. It is wisdom. It is discernment. It is spiritual intelligence. It is divine timing wrapped in patience. The right soul will not only understand your pace, they will match it, honor it, and move with it. Because love, for someone like you, isn't measured in speed. It's measured in depth. And the deeper the soul, the slower the fall, but the stronger the bond. This is the beauty of who you are, and this is why your heart loves the way it does. Chosen one. Now we step into one of the deepest truths of your journey, understanding spiritual heartbreak. This is the kind of heartbreak that doesn't just sting your emotions, it shakes your soul. It rearranges you from the inside out. And maybe you've wondered why your pain feels heavier than what other people describe, why you're not just sad but spiritually disoriented, why the ending of a relationship feels like the ending of a lifetime. It's because you're not dealing with ordinary heartbreak. You're dealing with a fracture in your spiritual alignment. Most people mourn the person, but you mourn the connection. You mourn the version of yourself you became with them. You mourn the energy you shared, the dreams your spirit built, the future your soul had already started living. When chosen ones love, they don't just give affection. They give identity, presence, intention, and purpose. You weave someone into the fabric of your inner world, so when that fabric tears, it feels like a piece of your own destiny is being ripped away. Have you ever felt like you weren't just heartbroken, but spiritually confused? Like the path ahead suddenly shifted? Like your intuition went silent, or your spirit dimmed? That is the mark of spiritual heartbreak. And spiritual heartbreak isn't simple grief. It's energetic detachment. You're untangling threads woven through emotions, memories, dreams, spiritual frequencies, and soul recognition. You're letting go of the energy that no longer belongs to you, even though it once felt like home. You're releasing bonds your spirit once trusted. And that release does not feel gentle. It feels like a storm. It feels like a breaking. It feels like a collapse of something sacred. Chosen one, have you ever felt like you were grieving a universe you built with someone? That's exactly what's happening. And that's why your pain feels cosmic. But here's the mystery inside the suffering. Spiritual heartbreak is how chosen ones awaken. This type of pain forces you to confront your identity. It shakes you into remembering who you are without the person. It pushes you to rediscover your purpose, your intuition, your inner strength. It removes illusions. It exposes wounds you didn't know you carried. It calls you back to the divine, because in your brokenness, you start seeking clarity that the world cannot give you. And in that seeking, you rise. In that grief, you awaken. In that confusion, you realign. Chosen one, think back. How many times have you emerged from heartbreak wiser, sharper, more intuitive, more spiritually grounded? How many times did the version of you after the heartbreak carry more strength than the one who entered the relationship? That is not coincidence. That is transformation. Spiritual heartbreak collapses the false so that the true can be born. It breaks the temporary so the eternal can rise. It strips away the wrong connection so your soul can align with the right one. This pain is not destroying you. It is initiating you. It is reshaping you. It is preparing you for a higher chapter, a clearer path, a deeper love, and a stronger spiritual identity. So when your heartbreak hits harder, when it feels cosmic, when it feels heavy beyond explanation, remember this truth. You are not just recovering from the person. You are recovering from the spiritual universe that was built around them. But when you rise, and you will rise, you won't simply return to who you were. You will return stronger, sharper, clearer, and more aligned than ever before. This is the hidden blessing inside your spiritual heartbreak. It doesn't end you, it awakens you. Chosen one, this part of your journey is one of the most delicate, most sacred, and most defining. Healing without closing your heart. Because when you've been hurt deeply, not just emotionally but spiritually, the instinct is to pull back, to harden, to shut every door inside you so nothing and no one can ever reach that fragile place again. And maybe you felt that temptation, that urge to protect yourself by becoming colder, quieter, or emotionally distant. But chosen one, the truth is this: your softness is not your weakness, it is your power. And your healing is not about becoming less open, it's about becoming more wise. The real challenge is not healing. The real challenge is healing without losing the parts of yourself that make you divine. Because your heart is naturally open, empathetic, and spiritually receptive. You feel deeply, you care genuinely, you connect meaningfully. And when that kind of heart gets hurt, the pain echoes so loudly that it convinces you to shut down. Have you ever felt yourself becoming numb? Not because you wanted to, but because it felt safer than risking another wound? Have you ever caught yourself withdrawing from people, even good people, because your spirit feared another heartbreak? That's not coldness, that's protection. But chosen one, you were not created to live behind walls. You were created to grow roots, not build fortresses. Healing without closing your heart means learning boundaries that protect you, not walls that isolate you. It means knowing when to give and when to step back. It means recognizing red flags early so you don't fall into the same spiritual traps. It means listening to your intuition instead of your loneliness. This is the wisdom you gain from pain, not bitterness, not fear, but clarity. You begin to see who deserves your light and who only came to dim it. You begin to understand that your heart is not a doorway everyone is allowed to walk through. But here's the beauty. Staying soft does not mean staying vulnerable to harm. Staying soft means staying aligned with your true nature, compassionate, intuitive, loving, and spiritually aware. When you heal properly, you don't shut down. You level up. Your sensitivity becomes strength. Your empathy becomes discernment. Your love becomes intentional. You stop giving your heart to those who don't know how to hold it, and you stop confusing emotional intensity with spiritual alignment. Let me ask you something, chosen one. Can you feel that part of you that still wants to love? That quiet whisper inside your spirit that still believes in connection, still believes in genuine souls, still believes in divine timing? That whisper is not naive. That whisper is your truth. It's the reminder that healing hasn't robbed you of your softness. It's revealing the maturity within it. Healing without closing your heart means creating a new version of openness, one that's strong, wise, intuitive, and discerning. It's choosing to trust again, not blindly, but consciously. It's allowing love into your life again, not because you need it, but because your soul is ready for a connection that matches your depth. It's understanding that closing your heart may protect you from pain, but it also blocks you from blessings. So chosen one, as you heal, remember this. You are not becoming harder. You are becoming clearer. You are not losing your softness. You are refining it. You are not limiting love. You are preparing for love that is real, aligned, and worthy of your spirit. This is the essence of healing without shutting down. You return to the world not as a wounded version of yourself, but as a wiser, softer, stronger guardian of your own heart. And when the right soul arrives, they won't just meet your heart. They'll honor it. They'll match it. They'll rise to it. Because you healed in a way that kept the door open for what was meant for you all along. Chosen one, this is where your journey becomes beautifully revealing. The lessons hidden in your pain. Because nothing you've gone through has been empty, random, or without purpose. Even when it felt like your world was falling apart, something inside you was being rebuilt. Even when you were crying, something sacred was being awakened. Your pain has been your teacher, your mirror, and your spiritual compass, guiding you toward the version of yourself you were always meant to become. Every heartbreak you faced carried a message. Have you noticed that certain situations repeated until you finally recognized a pattern? That certain people came into your life not to stay, but to show you something about your own heart? Pain has a way of revealing the truth, what you tolerate, what you fear, what you desire, and what you must release. And chosen one, every time you were disappointed, you gained another layer of clarity. You learned what your spirit could no longer accept. You learned what your soul was yearning for. You learned the difference between what feels good temporarily and what aligns with you eternally. And then there were the mirrors. The uncomfortable reflections your heartbreak forced you to confront. Pain showed you the wounds you carried from childhood, the insecurities you hid behind silence, the trust you gave too easily, the conversations you avoided, the boundaries you didn't set. Pain doesn't just show you what others did to you. It shows you what you allowed, what you ignored, and what you must protect moving forward. Let me ask you, chosen one, how many times did you stay where you were shrinking? How many times did you love people who weren't loving themselves? This awareness wasn't punishment. It was liberation. Loneliness, too, had a lesson. Those quiet nights when you felt abandoned weren't meant to break you. They were meant to tune your spirit back to the divine. In solitude, you learned how to hear your own voice again. You learned how to lean on intuition. You learned how to find comfort in your own presence. Loneliness wasn't emptiness. It was realignment. It was the divine pulling you back from noise, illusions, and misalignment so you could rediscover your inner strength. And chosen one, do you realize how much stronger you became because of your pain? Every heartbreak activated a new version of your power. When someone betrayed you, you learned to trust your intuition. When someone undervalued you, you learned your worth. When someone walked away, you learned how to stand alone. You sharpened your discernment. You strengthened your boundaries. You awakened spiritual muscles you didn't even know you had. Your pain was not the end. It was initiation. It was training. It was spiritual refinement. And when you look back, you'll notice something miraculous. Every wound became a doorway to truth, a doorway to growth, a doorway to a wiser, clearer, more powerful version of you. Pain shaped your purpose by stripping away what was false, revealing what was real, and preparing you for what is destined. So, chosen one, ask yourself gently, who have you become because of everything you survived? What strengths have awakened within you? What truths have you uncovered? Pain didn't just change you, it elevated you. It pushed you into alignment with your calling, your intuition, your self-worth, and your divine path. This is the secret most people never realize. Your heartbreak was not breaking you, it was building you. And every lesson hidden in your suffering has been guiding you toward the life you were always meant to live. Chosen one, this final chapter of your journey carries a quiet power, your return to emotional strength. Because no matter how deep the heartbreak, no matter how heavy the silence, no matter how shattered you once felt, there comes a moment when something inside you begins to rise again. Not loudly, not dramatically, but gently, steadily, like dawn breaking after the longest night. This return is not sudden, it is sacred. It is your spirit remembering its own light. There's a shift that happens within you, chosen one, long before anyone else can see it. A soft reopening, a softening of the breath, a loosening of the weight around your chest. One morning you wake up and the hurt doesn't speak as loudly. The memories don't sting as sharply. The confusion doesn't hold you hostage anymore. You start to feel a spark, small, warm, almost shy, but unmistakably real. Have you felt that before? That quiet moment when your heart whispers, "I'm still here, and I'm not done yet." That is your emotional strength returning. That is your rebirth. And this rebirth is never loud because true healing rarely announces itself. Instead, it shows in subtle divine signs. You begin to trust your intuition again. You begin to smile without forcing it. You begin to feel grateful for small things, the sky, the air, your own presence. You notice that you're no longer reacting from pain, but responding from clarity. The anger fades, the sadness softens, the bitterness dissolves. It's not that you've forgotten what happened, it's that you've outgrown it. Pain that once controlled you now feels distant, almost like it belonged to a past version of you. As you rise, you also regain something even more powerful, your emotional independence. You no longer seek validation from the wrong places. You no longer chase connections that drain you. You no longer bend your spirit to fit into spaces that don't honor your depth. Instead, you stand taller, not arrogantly, but consciously. You begin to appreciate the strength woven through every scar. You begin to trust the timing of your own journey. You begin to realize that everything you lost was preparing you for what is aligned, what is destined, what is true. Chosen one, have you noticed how your perception shifts when you heal? You start choosing peace over excitement. You choose stability over chaos. You choose authenticity over attention. You choose souls who see you, not people who merely want you. That is emotional maturity. That is spiritual alignment. That is the result of everything you've survived. And then, almost miraculously, love begins to feel possible again. Not the rushed, reckless, fragile love you once pursued, but a deeper, calmer, divinely guided love. Your heart becomes open again, but this time it is guarded by wisdom. You don't fall blindly. You don't give too quickly. You don't abandon yourself in the name of connection. Instead, you move with intention, softness, and clarity. Your heart is no longer desperate. It is discerning. This is the beauty of your emotional comeback. You don't just heal, you elevate. You don't just recover, you transform. You don't just return, you rise. And chosen one, your rise is divinely timed. The universe never lets a chosen soul stay broken. The heartbreak was the pruning, the loneliness was the preparation, the lessons were the sharpening. And this rising, this glowing, expanding, strengthening of your heart is the reward. So breathe, chosen one. Feel it. You are not returning to who you were. You're stepping into who you were meant to become. Wiser, softer, stronger, more intuitive, more aligned, more spiritually awakened. This is your emotional rebirth. This is your comeback. And your heart, it's finally rising again.